Parents and students in Longview, starting the new school year also means getting to know a new superintendent.
As KLTV7's Lauren Tier reports tonight, Dr. Marla Sheppard is encouraging feedback from the community to find collaborative goals for the district.
After visiting all 13 Longview ISD school campuses in the first week of school to meet the students, Dr. Marla Sheppard says she wanted to also connect with the parents and teachers, not just for introductions, but also for feedback.
We're a feedback-driven district, and we can only do better when we know that there are things that people perceive as challenges or opportunities.
Tonight at Judson STEAM Academy, people shared their concerns and praises with the new superintendent at a listening and learning workshop. Mom Lauren Land has 3 students in the district and says it was important for her to come to meet Dr. Sheppard and to hear from other parents, an opportunity she hasn't had in the past.
As having had students here for 11 years, this is probably the first opportunity that we've had as parents to sit down with the superintendent, listen, to know they're going to look at our notes and talk about those things. So it's really exciting.
Attendees worked in groups to talk about strengths and weaknesses in 4 categories.
We're looking at academics. We're looking at academic programming. That would be extracurricular and co-curricular, customer service, and communication. Those are areas that we want to hear how our families feel about the district.
Several parents voiced praise for the diversity of academic opportunities, including Montessori education, IB classes, and ample choices for career and technology education. Others stressed the importance of improving district-parent communication.
For us to be able to come on campus, really support our boosters, support our kids, but we need to know what they need.
Lauren Tier, KLTV 7 News.
The next listening and learning workshop with Dr. Sheppard, she seems like a nice lady, will be at Ned Williams Elementary. The time and date have not yet been announced. All of the feedback will be compiled and presented to the school board to start making priorities. Of course, we'll let you know when that scheduling is completed.